I dream of having a place to paint. You recently bought a farm with a barn and a ranch. You have a sunflower patch that you tended to yourself. You sit in your patio whilst you think about another thing to paint. My dream seems very unrealistic. It seems very stupid. It seems very childish. But my American dream is a literal dream. It's not something to say oh, I want to live comfortably. I know the American dream reflects the country's, shortcomings. It reflects its shortcomings. Some people dream for equality. Some people dream for justice. Some people dream for a better economy. Some people dream for peace. And that's a total bummer to talk about. I'm sorry. That's a total bummer to talk about. To my understanding, the American dream varies from person to person, and it essentially reflects the problems of the country. And that's what I said. Examples would be the Black Panthers, Malcolm X, MLK, James Baldwin during the Civil Rights Movement. That's all the things that I could name. I think, yeah. Because we uphold ourselves, they believed we could achieve that because we have upheld ourselves to the standard of that we need equality, essentially, because of this mythos in the founding father era with the Declaration of Independence, and I quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal," and I end quote. But the founding fathers were slave masters at the time. They had slavery. They were hypocritical. Everybody you loved in the Hamilton play were slave masters. Hamilton, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Henry Adams. If anybody liked that guy. I don't think anybody likes that guy. But those three people were slave owners. They owned slaves. It doesn't matter how abolitionist they were in the play. They were slave owners. And that's what really stuck up to me during Hamilton once I learned history. It's really stupid. I mean, examples like the Monroe Doctrine and the Truman Doctrine argued that, we should really fight for freedom. And anybody who tries to suppress freedom overall should die. They should all die. We're gonna defeat them. And that's how we all got the spiel. We all got into the Cold War because of that Truman Doctrine and stuff, the Eisenhower Doctrine, etc. It's because we wanted to protect quote unquote freedom, and it instills this hypocrisy that America has, and and if I was a black person during the Cold era and stuff, the Cold Wars, I would argue for reparations, because what the heck? I'm fighting for my country, and when I come back from my country as a veteran, I get beat up in the bus. I get killed in the bus. I get killed by a cop. I get killed just roaming in the streets because I look like a bad person because of my skin. That was their whole life during the Jim Crow era. And that time wasn't even a long time ago. Mr. Vaught was probably alive during the Jim Crow era, which is not. Yeah. It was essentially a very bad time for them, if I had to sum it up. And the civil rights activists, at the end of the day, they really wanted black sovereignty. They really wanted to be independent from America. End quote. My path to the American dream, if it ever happens, is by being reborn again into a family being well off, who has a farm or a lot in the country. Then I will use those funds of my well-off family to become a politician in the United States. And after being a worker of some kind, I will work my way up to an auditor of a governor or a seat of the House. And essentially, I talked about embezzling money and how I would use insider trading to just gain capita. That's how you gain capita in the modern age. You don't gain it, honestly anymore. You gain it from exploiting the workers, exploiting everybody below you, and using insider information. So my dream is actually ridiculous. It's not something of that I will achieve. That's not something that you will ever achieve, essentially, except if you're like, somebody in a house, somebody in government power right now. My dream is bizarre. Okay, one of my real dreams is to become a radiologist, because my grandma and my family overall is prone to breast cancer, I think. And I also think about working my whole life in a dark place looking for anomalies in a person's body is the best job ever. That's my whole thing. I like looking at weird things. I don't know. I really want to work through this confusing world we live in. And to be honest, this is probably the only paragraph where I can only talk about my dreams and aspirations. I don't think I would be interested to have this type of dream because it seems bland and boring and overall stupid to talk about. That is my true American dream. And overall, I'd like to reflect on this dream, and I will probably achieve it if I lock in college. But in reality, I don't know, it depends. If something happens bad to me, something bad happens to me, I'll probably never achieve it. I don't care. Have a nice day.